Hey everyone, welcome to Art by Mark. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to teach you how to do a Dutch pour, starting with your number one basics of how to mix your paint and the things that you are going to need in order to go on this wonderful journey of acrylic pour art. So first off, I'm going to start with my paint. I like Utrecht. I get this at Blick Art Studio. You can buy them online as well. They have really good discounts on Blick and on the Utrecht website. I like these because of the size of them. This one here is a 32 ounce, a quart amount of paint, which is amazing. The colors, some colors that are really nice only come in 16 ounces, but it's better than those 4 8-ounce tubes that you just end up going through really quickly. So I definitely recommend, if you see yourself really loving acrylic pour art, to go bulk as much as possible in saving the plastic. The cool things about these also is once you use all of them, you can end up using them as mixing containers, which is great because, you know, the next thing that I will bring you to is Dixie cups. You'll need something to mix your paint in. So those things are really nice. I haven't actually gotten to the point of getting to the bottom of the barrel of those, but I'm looking forward to being able to use those as my mixing containers. After Dixie cups, we're going to move over to Floetrol. You need some sort of paint thinner. I love Floetrol. It was one of the things that was recommended to me at the very beginning. And I'm just one of those people that once you find the thing that you like the most, you just kind of stick to it. I've also tried the Liquitex brand. I didn't like it as much. I just thought it was a little bit thinner and didn't get the quality of paint that I enjoyed. So now that we're on the Floetrol mix, next thing that you'll need is a strainer. Sometimes the Floetrol does come out a little chunky. This is something that I wish I knew about in the very beginning, because I would have a really awesome painting that I would do, and then you just see these little bubbles that were underneath, and it was globs of Floetrol. So this is number one. This is very important on my list. Next thing is little bigger vessels. I actually, because this can come out thick sometimes, I like pre-straining into here so that I can just pour into the cups instead of having to wait every time in order to strain new Floetrol. So these are really great. When I'm doing massive amounts of paint, I also use these. You can find these at Michael's or Blick, or I got this one at Home Depot. They also have larger ones. I end up using these for my white paints because if you're doing the Dutch pour method, you just end up using so much more white paint than anything, which is why I buy my white paints in gallon sizes. And these aren't that expensive. It's actually really nice. Again, Utrecht, they end up having great discounts, just like Michael's. So if you go, they also have the 5 or 10 canvas packs and things like that, which are really nice. Next thing you'll also need is some water. The Floetrol is great, but if you want to water it down, just get a little bit more, especially for the Dutch pour. You want to be able to take your blow dryer or your mouth blowing air to spread the paint, and a little bit extra water just makes it nice and runny for you. One of the final things that you'll need is Popsicle Sticks. I love these jumbo guys. The jumbo guys make it easy for when you are taking paint out of your plastic containers. So that's really nice. It also makes it really easy to stir. I have used these thin ones, and it's just a little bit of a hassle. So one of the things that I like is, work smarter, not harder. So if you find these are definitely a steal. Last thing that you'll need today, I believe, is a scale. A scale just makes it so that you can make sure that you're getting your exact measurements. One of the measurements that I do are one part paint and then 2 parts Floetrol. And then I do about 10 to 15% of what that is in water. So a scale comes in handy. Then you don't have to eyeball it. You make sure that you get the same consistency on all your paints, which is something really nice, because if you have different weights in your paints, some paints will sink to the bottom of the paint, some will raise to the top. So if you have them all the same, then you won't have that problem. So let's just go ahead and get going. First things first, I like to start with just getting some of my Floetrol poured out, just so that it's already in the cup. You'll come out, it comes out nice and glossy, really thick. It's actually a really beautiful product. And once you get a little bit going there, you can move on to your next. Sorry for the sounds. I'm in Boise, Idaho right now, and it is cold outside. So the heater just kicked in, and I'm just gonna be out here working in the cold with you guys. So next thing you know, grab your little Dixie cup, put it on your scale, and then you're gonna zero it out so that you make sure that it gets that accurate. For some reason, I'm really feeling this pink right now. So one thing that I do, once the paint dries, they're really hard to open sometimes. So I'll take another container and just kind of tap it around, and it ends up coming off really easy once it loosens up that dry paint. So you look over here, grab one of your jumbo popsicle sticks, and then depending on how many paintings I'm gonna do, normally about, what am I on, kilograms right now? I'll go to grams just to make life a little easy. 17 grams. So I'm gonna go to, I got 34 on here. I wish I could get an even 35 just to make math easy. Even just makes math a little bit easier. So 35, that means I'm going to need 70 grams of Floetrol. So the ending product, once I mix the Floetrol and the paint, will be 105 grams. So I'm just gonna pour that in there. It's nice that I have it pre-mixed here because then I can just pour it right in. 35, 70, 105, okay? I went a little over. I'm at 110, but that's okay. And before I mix the water in, I like to just give my paint a good stir, just to see. Sometimes different paints have different thickness, so you don't want to add too much water to it and thin it out before you even know if it needs. And I don't know if this is true, but I've been in a cold climate. Normally I'm in California, and I think that in a cold climate it makes the paint just a little bit thicker. So just give that a good stir. You're going to want to get any chunks of the paint that stick to the bottom. You see it's still nice and thick, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down, and it was at 110. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 10 more grams of water. 10 to 15 is normally what I go for. And then just little bits at a time, because the water does go a long way and you don't want to water down all of your paint too much. Basically you're trying to get to the consistency of a nice pourable honey. If you can get that visual in, it's not that thick, but say you warmed up your honey or your maple syrup and it just kind of, see, that's really nice right there. So I might add just a teeny bit more water, which will, let's say, just 5 more grams of water. Perfect pour. And then that will bring our total to 120 grams. So I did 35 grams of paint, 70 grams of Floetrol, and 15 grams of water. And that looks beautiful. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Perfect. So then I just like to set that aside. Because all my cups are the same size, it's great. I'm already zeroed out. So we are going to take some of this violet, and since I'm getting to the end, it makes it a lot easier just to pour it in there. Awesome, I got, oh man, 37. Those weird numbers are the ones that then just test my math skills. All right, I got exactly 40 there. So 40 of paint will be 80 of Floetrol, 2 parts to 1. So it's gonna end at 120 once I pour that. 121, 122, that's okay. And then again, I like to just fill this up. One of the things that I always learned while working in the restaurant industry is just have everything set up for you as you're going. This paint is gorgeous. I wonder if I can get you a nice view in there. I don't know if this will work, but you can just see it. It's gorgeous violet paint. So we're just gonna give that a nice mix. Get all those clumps out of there. This paint was definitely a little on the chunky side. And then, yeah, that's thick. So this one might actually need a little bit more of our are, so right now I'm at 125 with the popsicle stick, and I believe my popsicle stick weighs about 5, so if I take it out, there's still paint connected to it. So 40, 120 total, and then I'll do about 10%, so let's do 12 to 15 on here. I'm just gonna do 15 just to match the last one, even though we had a little bit more paint. Mix that in good, and sometimes I'll just pre-mix a lot of these like this and then set them to the side before they're actually finished, so then when I get all my paints ready, I can just do a nice final twist and it should be good. That's getting there. This one I feel is a little thicker than some of the other paints. Sometimes when you get those darker colors, that's the case, so just add a little bit more water. And again, you're trying to look for that same consistency as the other paints that you do, so as best as you can. It's not dire. Your paintings are still gonna come out beautiful. Ooh, that one's perfect, okay. Beautiful, all right. So when you're doing your math, so I got about 25, and white is actually such a beautiful thing because a little goes a long way. So I'm at about 26. I want to see if I can make it to, well, that went quick. I'm at 42. So just add that over there. Remember, you're gonna need a lot of whites, not for the mixing, but for prepping of the canvas. So I like mixing mine before you put the Floetrol, get the paint all mixed in. That is beautiful. It's a nice light blue. It's actually close to the one that I already have, but for some reason it's just a little bit more fun to mix your own paints. And then you can name them whatever you want. I guess there's a chart, but so let's go. That was at 42. So that's 126. I'm loving that I have retained math. Get a calculator, use your phone, whatever you need. And then once you get that out there, 124, 120. It really doesn't have to be precise, but sometimes I'm a little sticky on those. Give that a good mix. And once you get your paints mixed really well, there's not much more. I might just do these 4 colors just to make it an easy tutorial today. So yeah, that looks really good. I honestly, I just went back to these jumbo popsicle sticks, and they're a life changer. Because I was using those small ones, they came in a pack, and the jumbo ones are the way to go. So definitely learn from my learning curves. The strainer was a big thing. These jumbo things are a big thing. Not having to go through small paint containers all the time, that's a huge thing for me. I don't like wasting plastic or really using plastic at all. So I even will clean out these Dixie cups because I don't like wasting them. So I just need a little bit more water, I think. All right. And then lastly is my white paint. So like I said, I tend to do white paint a little more on the bulk side because you need it a lot more. When you do the Dutch pours, you end up coating your canvas with a base layer. That's beautiful. So I'm gonna come up and show you these paints really quick. I got this light blue that I just mixed with, and there's the consistency that you're looking for. I hope I'm not too close on this one. You just want it to like pour right off and just kind of have just a nice easy stream. It's easier to see the consistency with the jumbo popsicle sticks as well. So that's really beautiful. That's what I'm looking for right there. As you're coming through all your different paints, the pink one as well. Beautiful. And this last violet one. Look at just the richness of that color. That's just beautiful. Awesome. So once we get those ones, the last one that I'm gonna do is white. Again, I use these big containers, so again, you're gonna have to zero it out since you got a different size container. Because the paint is really, it's a lot of white paint, so I would hate to use these popsicle sticks, and trust me, I have. You end up getting a little bit of what feels like carpal tunnel, so I just use these buckets and make it easier on yourself and just tilt it in. I will do, I don't know, something around 200 to 300 grams of white paint. Again, that's why I love these giant buckets. And I'm trying to get at a somewhat even number so that I can do the math easy. Paper towels also very handy. Have paper towels. I didn't add that to the list in the beginning. I ended on 342, and I know I wasn't following my own rule of having Floetrol ready for this, so I'm going to keep doing that as I'm talking to you. The paint basically is going to, I love these containers. If you can get some of these, they're really cheap as well. Mason jar, I've also used mason jars or bottles, and you can just shake the paint in there. I don't always find that I get the right mix all the time, but so right now I'm at 340 grams of white paint. So that means I'm going to need 680 grams of this. And if you don't want to have to do the math every time, if you can remember the paint that you do, go ahead and just zero it out. So I know that I'm going for 680 grams of Floetrol. So let's start with that. That's only 246. So I'm going for 680, and you'll notice why it's nice. I mean, this is going really quick. I just got a new strainer, which is really nice. Number one important thing is clean your stuff really quickly after you use it, because especially with this Floetrol, it ends up hardening and drying out as it should, but it makes it really hard to get any more through the strainer in the future. So clean your stuff out. It's definitely a helpful tool. I know we can all be a little procrastinating, especially when you get a bunch of paint on your hands. At the end of the day, I want to clean myself more than I want to clean my station, but I always appreciate it when I go back and clean the station. So I am almost here. I'm at 600 now. So I am almost there. Let's see if that final pour will be it. 650. 20 more. It's the final countdown. Here we go. And I like to just keep it in the cup, because as long as I paint again tomorrow, all the leftovers should be good. So I'm at exactly 680, which means with the original 340 that I was at would be 1,020. So that means, I hope that's right, that means I need about 100 grams of water. I'll probably need more, honestly. That didn't feel like enough. And what I like to do is grab an egg beater. I hope I said that already, but if not, egg beaters are really great. Any sort of hand blender, KitchenAid hand blenders are really good too. This just makes me feel like I'm a wonderful old lady cooking in the kitchen, which who wouldn't want to feel like that? So this makes me think of my grandma, honestly. She's 91 now, and she still uses things like this in order to beat her eggs, and it's really cool. It's simple, it makes it a lot easy. I mean, I still got a couple clumps of paint. Plus, it's easy, you can just do a little stir with this as well. The one thing that I would say, if you ever go to the hand blenders, the problem with those is they go a little bit too quick. So if you have a really low speed one, you don't want to get air bubbles in your paint, or else then you're going to have to use your blowtorch a lot in order to get those paint bubbles out. So we're getting to that same consistency. That just looks beautiful. I might not even add any more water. Maybe just a touch. Sounds so cool. All right, now that we got that all mixed in, yeah, that's exactly right. All right, so now we have all of our paints mixed. So now we're going to clean up our station of all the paint bottles that we didn't use or that we used, get them out of the way. Clean up the station a little bit, and then we're going to set up our canvases so that we can paint. All right, so that was us mixing our paint. So to do a really quick recap, you're going to need Floetrol, a paint thinner. This is latex based, so it gives it a nice shine to it. You're going to need white paint. You're going to need the color paints of your desire. Again, try to go bulk if possible. This is just the most beautiful thing, to have these big containers so that you don't have to waste plastic, especially then because you get to use them again when you're out. You're going to need a scale. You're going to need jumbo popsicle sticks. You're going to need water, water, and I believe that's it. So now that you have all your paints mixed, tune in tomorrow and I'm going to show you how to do your first Dutch pour. Congratulations, you're almost there.